Benda apa ini? Benda ini berada di rumahmu. Ini adalah meteran listrik pintar atau smart meter. Smart meter adalah pengganti meter listrik konvensional, yang merupakan bagian dari pembangunan jaringan tenaga listrik atau smart grid.
So I'm going to give you a little background on who I am and what I do. My name is Dr. Darren Schmidt. I'm a chiropractor. I focus on nutrition. This is my office. And since 1998, I've been working with nutrition and getting people better. And energy comes up, pain goes away, sleep gets better, digestive troubles go away. But about 4 years ago, I was walking down the hallway, and I was feeling good, and I sat down at my desk, and 5 minutes later, I felt tired. And I stopped and I thought, okay, what's different here versus 5 minutes ago in the hallway? And I looked around, and I was sitting in front of two computers. I have the desktop and the laptop going. So using our testing techniques, I discovered that both of those computers are causing harm to my body, and this happens with most people, to be honest, who are on computers. So the electromagnetic frequencies coming off the screen, coming off the tower, coming off the cord, and mix that in with the cell phone and the printer and the clock radio or plugged-in calculator, and you have this sea of magnetic and radio frequencies at your desk. And I realized, well, I don't spend that much time in front of a computer, but I have patients that spend 8 hours in front of a computer, so they must be better or like worse off than I am. So I started using our testing procedures, and sure enough, I found that people who spend more than 4 hours a day in front of the computer are tired because of it. Their brain gets tired, their eyes get tired, it takes energy out of the body. So for about 3 years, I looked for supplements that would fix it, and there is none. There's no supplements that fix hypersensitivity to EMFs and radio frequencies regarding the frequencies themselves. But what I did discover is that there are underlying conditions that can be addressed over the course of 6 months to a year, and I'm specifically talking about heavy metal toxicity. So if you have fillings in your teeth or you have heavy metals stuck in your body, those metals in your organs, like mercury, aluminum, antiperspirants are made out of aluminum. That aluminum sits in your skin, and it acts like an antenna, and it attracts EMFs to your body, and then those EMFs cause harm to your body. And these are what these upcoming slides are going to show you, various people who have had negative effects from electromagnetic frequencies and radio frequencies. So this is a wavelength. So I just talked about how an electron could be a particle and a wavelength. It's energy and matter. So here's a wavelength, and it goes up and down and up and down. And this is electricity right here. Now, our bodies have different wavelengths according to the organ, and this has been measured by different people, and they're not too far off from each other. So it says the thymus gland, which is located right here, has a wavelength of, 65 to 68 megahertz. The heart is 67 to 70, the lungs 58 to 65. So every organ has its own wavelength. And that can be disrupted by other items in our world. So here we have cell phones. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. We have low frequencies, like the earth is a low frequency. Home appliances, the electrical outlets in your house, that's a low frequency. And what that means is 0 to 300 hertz. Then we have radio waves. And what I want to point out here, we have AM, FM, television. Then we have microwaves. That includes Wi-Fi, and then microwaves for cooking. Right in between, we have cell phones right here. Okay, then we have infrared, like heating lamps and lasers. X-rays are up here. Cosmic and gamma rays are over here. So for many years, we've known that nuclear radiation is dangerous. We've also known that low-frequency magnetic waves are dangerous. But for decades, we were told that all of this is safe. And especially like in this area, the radio waves, AM, FM, cell phones, we've been told this is safe, but it's not. So I'll get into that in a second here. So these are radio frequencies right here. This is the density of radio frequencies, radio waves. And here we have 0.000. There's 10 zeros here and then a 1. This is almost 0 radio frequencies, the density of it. And at this level, We have EEG altered. That means that people were strapped into an electroencephalogram, measuring their wavelengths of their brain, and they were given a little bit of radio frequency, and it altered their brain waves. Okay, and then coming up here we have 0.001, that'd be the density of radio frequencies. And here we have sleep disorders, weakness, fatigue, pain. And just coming up the scale up to 1, we have people can feel it here at 0.01, decreased cell growth, childhood leukemia, impaired motor function, reaction time memory, attention, altered white blood cells in school children, headache, dizziness, fatigue, weakness, insomnia. So there's the point here is there's no safe levels of radio frequencies, and researchers have been looking for decades, and they have not found a safe level for radio frequencies. Here we have a graph showing our exposure to radio frequencies, and this is since the year 2000, and it goes up like this. So the exposure is like 20,000 times greater than what it was in 1980. All right, now this is electricity, but it's dirty. And this is a technical term. And what this is, you saw the other graph, it's a nice smooth up and down, up and down. Well, here we have the up and down, but writing on it are other wavelengths that come from kitchen appliances or cell phones or Wi-Fi or something like that. So the electricity in your home, like I mentioned before, it's a low frequency. It's 60 hertz, which is actually a very, very big wavelength. But you have these little tiny wavelengths that run on it. Now there's a book called Dirty Electricity, and in that book, Samuel Milham, he's an epidemiologist, he says that the #1 cause of cancer in the United States is dirty electricity, and it's been that way for many decades. All right, this is a cell phone call right here. Now the nice smooth up and down that I showed you earlier, that's relatively safe. It still causes problems, but when you have this digital pulse thrown in there, this is very, very damaging, much more damaging. So here we have standby, and then it jumps up ringing, and then it drops down, then it jumps up speaking and listening, and it's going up and down like this. Your body cannot adapt to this. It does have the potential to adapt to a nice smooth up and down AM wavelength or FM wavelength. All right, so that's some fundamental stuff about, that's just basic. All right, so what this says is, I managed to have smart meter installation delayed at my house, but suddenly became sick overnight with palpitations, chest pain, insomnia, dizziness, inability to concentrate, and memory loss and fainting spells. After becoming sick, I found out that the day I became suddenly sick was the day the smart meter rollout was completed in my area, and the smart meters were remotely turned on from base. So his house was not even installed. This is his neighbor's houses. I can no longer drive. I can't work. I'm a doctor. I have to go and sleep at my mother-in-law's place. There are no smart meters there yet, or in her neighborhood or at her house. So there's a billion stories like this. Not a billion, but there's going to be thousands. There's definitely in the hundreds, because smart meters are being deployed right now. So people can read this and say, well, that guy must be lying, or he's crazy, or he's insane. You know, you've heard it all before. But when you have hundreds and thousands of people saying the same stuff over and over again, those people are not crazy or insane. They're actually feeling it. All right. Now, what I'm going to talk about are different tests that can be done. And here's an example. And it doesn't really tell us, like, in real time what's happening. But this is electrical current affecting cortisol levels in cows. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So minutes of exposure. So here we have 18 minutes of exposure at 8 milliamps. And this cow had this much, or these cows had this much cortisol. At 4 milliamps, they had this much cortisol, and at no milliamps, they had this much cortisol. So what that means is the more exposure they had over time, the more cortisol that the cow produced. All right, now if you took a cortisol test on every single American, there might be 25 or 50% or some high number, because we're just stressed, regardless of electricity or cell phone usage. So this doesn't really give us too much of a story. But I do have a test, and I've been using this since '04, and I've adapted it to show us how we're affected by electromagnetic and radio frequencies. So what happens is you put a strap around the chest like this. You may have seen some people running down the road with no shirt, but they got this black strap around their chest like that. That strap then sends a signal to their watch, and they know what their pulse is. Now the computer test that I have sends a signal to the computer, and it does way more math and way more magical things with the heart rate other than just giving a pulse. So what this is, this shows the body's ability to repair at night. This is rest and repair, and this is fight or flight. Okay? So this woman was laying on her bed, very relaxed, and then what we did, we had a cordless phone. We had the base here, and the phone set was here, and we called it. And this is what happened. See that? That's her nervous system. Her nervous system is freaking out, and it goes like that, and it goes like this all the way through. So I'm going to backtrack, just to show you again how smooth that is. And this is perfect. This is a beautiful test. And then you turn on the cell phone, or the cordless phone, and this is what happened. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next one. This is a kid with diabetes, and this is over the course of a year, these 3 tests right here. And the name of the test is called A1C, and it measures diabetes over a period of long period of time. And it's below normal. That's 7.5. So he's doing good here, here, and here. And then his smart meter was installed. And then his next test, that's what happened. It almost hit 10, which is really, really high and really dangerous and really bad. Then they got their smart meter taken out. And then next test, and it measured right there. So he had it under control, introduced a smart meter to the outside of the house. You know what a smart meter is, right? Okay, good.
Satu hal yang perlu kita catat di sini adalah ketika seseorang mengatakan, radiasi yang rendah tidak berbahaya bagi kesehatan, itu adalah dusta, karena tingkat radiasi dengan kadar 0,00000000001 tetap memiliki resiko tersendiri bagi kesehatan seperti yang dikatakan oleh para pakar sejak beberapa dekade lalu.